Welcome to the Arizona Construction and Renovations Employee and Staff Training Program. These tutorials are meant to enhance your knowledge of our internal processes and are not to be shared with others outside of the company. In this tutorial, we will look at the roles, responsibilities, and workflows related to the Operations Manager position here at Arizona Construction and Renovation.
All right, hello and welcome to the role overview and proven jobs training for project managers. Today I'll be going over your role, an overview of your responsibilities for your role, and your direct interactions with PSA, as well as the items you receive from other roles and the items that those roles expect from you. I'll also be covering the teams you collaborate with, how to measure your success within the company, and where to go for help should you need it. So let's get started. As a project manager, the purpose of your role is to own and coordinate assigned jobs from the time that you are assigned to them to completion, coordinating all aspects to deliver on time, within budget, and to client TPA satisfaction, and with clean closeout leading to payment to our company. The primary focus of your job is full project execution in the production phase, scheduling, field coordination, and field visits, change orders, client and TPA communication back to your operations manager so that can be communicated to them externally, progress tracking, issue resolution, and final sign off being the COS or certificate of satisfaction or the project sign off, PSO. The major players for your role internally, you're going to be communicating with ops the most for progress reports and informing them of PCN or project completion notice. Field techs, you're going to be scheduling and giving technical direction in the field. Estimators for change in scopes and pricing, you'll be communicating with them. And externally, clients for updates, sign-offs, and walkthroughs, you'll be contacting them. And for another external contact, adjusters, carriers, TPAs, giving them status updates and coordination of the certificate of satisfaction. There are some specific requirements for certain TPAs, so communicating with them is ideal for figuring that out, though you can always go to your operations manager for clarification. Next, an overview of your role, beginning to end. Your role begins upon assignment after ops or operations managers receive an ATP or an authorization to proceed, meaning the estimate was approved, the contract was signed, and the invoice has been paid. It ends when a punch list or project sign-off or certificate of satisfaction is signed and PCN is given to operations manager. From the previous role you receive from operations, you'll receive an assigned job in PSA. In proven jobs, the pre-con walk details will be sent to you via a notification from the workflow. From estimators, details regarding approved estimate budgets. So the budget for the work order, a scope, and a photo report will be given to you from the estimators. To the next role, you'll be delivering to operations a field report in PSA. That's a regular occurrence weekly for all of your currently in production jobs. You'll also be providing operations a job update or job updates for all your jobs, a work schedule, and any COS or project sign off that you get. Additionally, the final photos will be provided by you to operations into PSA for final job sign off, as well as that last documentation. To the estimators, you'll be giving them revision or supplement requests. So in case you find something that the client did not want but now does, or if you find additional damage or something that needs to change, you provide those requests, the information to the estimator, both in PSA and via email. For accounts receivable, you are providing them a PCN upon completion of work, though that comes in the form of an automatic system note after operations puts in a date for your PCN. But you're still providing them the information to ops to give to AR. Your key transition points throughout your role, the pre-con walk signifies that we are ready to start scheduling and we need a material approval form signed in order to start ordering materials. So there are no issues with disputes regarding the material that was installed or restock fees and who's going to pay them. Our material approval form lets them know upon signing that they will be paying for restock fees if they decide on a different item and they are selecting their specific SKU items that they want installed. So very useful form. Next, production milestones and field reports. Those are constant. You complete one, it means that you're preparing for the next. Until the job is completed, you are doing field reports weekly, if not sooner, based on your production meetings with the operations manager and what they require from you. You are also, let's see, change orders and delays. So that's obviously a key transition point. If there's some kind of delay or a change order, it's going to change the estimated start or completion date, and that needs to be communicated to operations. Your final walkthrough is a key transition point because it moves to the next stage of requiring the paperwork to finish off the job. And once you have that signed paperwork, that transitions to PCN, at which point you'll be informing operations that the project is completed, no additional work needed. We are ready to leave and get paid, invoice and expense. Our next section is specific for proven jobs. It's the system we use here on screen. Daily and weekly tasks for your role. Daily, you are updating operations on any field reports, schedules, calendar changes, change orders, and status updates for all jobs that you have inspected that day. You receive an update, you pass it off to operations so that operations can be the consolidated single point of updates going out to external entities from our company, meaning you get updates on 6 different jobs, you give it to ops. They are the one that is updating the external entities, clients, TPAs, etc. Daily, you are also allocating resources to jobs based on skill, availability, and priority. So you are determining based on your subs that are available and that you have signed on via subcontractor agreements, as well as field technicians within AZ Construction and Renovation. You are allocating those resources appropriately. Weekly, you need to touch every job once minimum, no exceptions. Every job in production, you are doing something with weekly, inspecting it, providing updates at least once for every job that is on your list weekly. The primary screens that you'll be using inside a proven job is going to be our info tab here, which has the number, name, customer contact information, address, claim, policy, status, all of that. Very useful information at a glance. Also, passing all these because you don't interact with dates or relationships. Notes is important. Here you can inform people of certain things as they happen. If you've got an important note, you can drop it in here, mobile or on desktop. You hit create, and then you make your note. And you can attach recipients to that note as well. I can add in recipients here and include them on that notification. Also, another tab that you use is attachments. This is where you can upload anything. Your during photos. Show you here under home. You should have a lot of folders here. This job does not have all of them, but it at least has construction photos. The before photos are the responsibility of the estimator. The during photos are your responsibility, and the after photos are also your responsibility. You get these before photos immediately upon being assigned. You can go in here and check them. These are all the photos from the estimator's initial walk and any photos before production has happened. As soon as production starts, your during photos are for your field reports. These are constantly updated from you whenever you have new photos from the job. They always go into PSA. That doesn't mean that they're going to go to the client or to the TPA, but we need to record them somewhere, and your phone is not a good place to keep them. So put them into the during for the appropriate job under construction photos. After is for the final walk. When you are finishing, you're taking your photos. If there are additional punch list items that you find during that walk, those are obviously not after photos. Those go into during again, and you provide another update saying that there's additional work needed. PCN is what prompts you to add those photos into the after because the job is done. Moving on, you've also got the schedule window here, which will be used to schedule field technicians that have access within here. Also, we have the ability to schedule using a work order only. So there has to be a open work order in order for you to schedule anybody with that voucher or work order. So scheduling will be covered in another video. Next, we move on to work orders. You'll be functioning out of this tab. There is a video that will be produced for the actual use of work orders, since that is very specific and can get a little complicated. So that video is going to be recorded separately. But here's where you find work orders for when you're using them within a job. There are no other really fields that you use for PSA. So info, notes, schedule, or attachments, schedule, and work orders. Outside of that, Proven Jobs Mobile, you'll be using notes and attachments mainly. Notes allow you to just put the notes in for mobile, and attachments, obviously, you will upload attachments. There's a video about that as well within our instructional videos for PMs, how to upload attachments, naming them properly, because obviously they need to be named appropriately during and after. All right, so key data within Proven Jobs for you is progress updates provided via notes. If you know that you have a production meeting coming up, to kind of shorten that, to be proactive about that, if you have a job update, you can put it in the note here and you can tag your operations manager. So as a recipient, you can add operations@azconstruct.com, whatever email is being ran by operations. Typically it's operations. You can provide your updates here to the job, put them as a recipient, save the note. It will inform them of that, sending them an email directly with that job update. And let's say your production meeting is the next day, instead of having to reiterate that and have redundant meetings where you're talking about things you've already provided information for, you point them to their email and they have the update that they need already. So skip that job. One less thing to talk about during your production meeting. If you do that for all of your jobs, you will have no production meeting. You'll meet, talk about how everything's in the email, and get back to work. Next, along with progress updates, the change order details will be provided in PSA. Anytime there's a change order, you're going to be informing the estimator. So same thing that you did to inform operations, you can tag the specific estimator with the change order details that you're requesting. If you need to know who the original estimator is and you can't find them on the relationships tab, let's say this wasn't posted, you can go to the custom fields here and the original estimator should be filled in based on the original estimator that was selected here. So if neither of those are filled in, the project coordinator failed, you can yell at them for that. They need to be putting in an estimator, and when they remove them, they need to be marking them here. Okay, so field photos and documents are some key data that project managers put in. You're going to upload any photos you get from the field, any documents you get signed, they immediately get uploaded into PSA and they are no longer your responsibility to upload. They don't belong on your phone, they belong in the system so we can all access them. Final sign-off status, so the COS, the Certificate of Satisfaction, or the project sign-off, a PSO, is the final sign-off status that you're providing to the operations manager, and you're putting that into PSA as well. Once you inform them, they should fill in the date that that has been uploaded, and it will progress the workflow automatically. The workflow is based on dates. Project managers do not enter dates into PSA. You have access to see them. You don't have access to edit any of these. Operations gets informed and they edit the dates. A lot of these push out to our portals and they are very important and meaningful when they're filled in. An accidentally entered date could cause a lot of heartache for our administrators. So you provide updates to operations, they provide those externally. Next, costs versus budget. Information that you put in about your actual costs are going to be compared to the budget, which is going to give you a gross margin. Excuse me. The information about your actual costs is important to be accurate because that will determine your percentage of the budget that you have spent, which will be used in your incentive structure in the future. SCAs, subcontractor agreements, are agreements, contractually binding agreements between you and a subcontractor for them doing work at a project. An SCA is a very important document, it needs to be meticulously learned as far as how to use it and then filled out. So there is no issue, there is nothing, everything that we have signed and we produced can be held up in court. We can hold our subs to a higher standard and pay them appropriately when they finish that work. Also in PSA, the pre-con walk schedule is a notification you're going to get. So this is to go over notifications from proven jobs. The pre-con walk, when it is scheduled by operations, you will receive a notification to your email and the job will also be logged. When you perform a punch walk, that will also be logged in the system and notify you as well. Um, the upload of a COS and photos is a notification that you receive letting you know that you need to upload a COS and photos. It'll also inform you to ask for a Google review at the closing of a job. Obviously, every job is not going to request that you ask for a Google review, but if the job is going well, the system leaves that up to your determination. Leaves the decision up to you so you can determine this job has gone well, it's been on schedule, I have really good rapport with the homeowner, I'm going to ask for Google review. If there have been multiple delays, even if they're not our fault and the homeowner is extremely irritated, if they don't recognize that it is not our fault, it's not worth asking for a Google review. We don't want to get a 3 or 4, we're looking for 5s only. Last notification out of PSA, PCN is getting sent to AR. When a PCN is sent, you are also notified that it's completed, just to inform you that the job is officially closed in the system for you. You should no longer see it on your board after that point. The operations manager, if it is still on your board, should be removing you and marking you in the custom fields as the original PM, so that if we need to audit the system or if something needs to be checked up on or followed up on, we know who the PM was without leaving you on the relationships tab, because this means that it shows up on your list of jobs. And if it's PCN'd, we don't need it showing up on your list of jobs. Our fourth section that we're moving into is for deliverables. So things that you produce out to other entities and things that you receive as well. So the main output for you, your deliverables, is job schedules. You'll be giving those to field techs and subcontractors, or you'll be communicating job schedules for subcontractors when they let us know that they are available. You'll be communicating those to the operations manager. So everybody is informed and it's on everybody's calendar as far as when that happens, so we can track progress on every job effectively. Work progression is also a deliverable that you're giving out. Mainly it is operations that is going to be receiving these updates. You're going to give them the progress on the work, letting them know what happened, what is happening next, when the completion can be expected. Field reports, again, to operations. Every time that you visit a job, you're taking photos and providing some kind of field report. Doesn't matter if it's a field report that's just photos of the progress saying on schedule, no changes, or if it's something more complicated where something needs to change. Field reports are a deliverable from you. Estimated start and completion dates are also a deliverable that you provide to the operations manager. You're going to let them know when you expect to start, when you expect to complete, and the operations manager is being held to a standard of making sure that all these estimated start and completion dates are being documented well. And as long as the delay is not caused by us, no issue. But if we're causing delays in start or completion, that is something that you and the operations manager are being measured against, potentially affecting your incentive structure. Final photos is another deliverable from you. And we are lastly asking you to deliver the PCN date to your operations manager. So final photos, obviously you upload whatever documentation is required, and then you provide that PCN date. Operations puts it in the system, and AR and AP are informed to invoice and expense appropriately. The quality and completion standards of those deliverables, everything that you provide to operations needs to be accurate, timely, field verified, fully documented, professional, and client ready. So accurate reporting on what you found and photos, timely replies to any notifications or disputes, and timely uploads of all your documents that you have. Field verified, meaning you went there yourself and you're not asking your field techs to take photos of things and provide them to you, but you are verifying them in the field by yourself. You are also fully documenting everything, meaning that if you have a form to fill out, it's fully filled out. You're not missing fields. There's no need to rework certain items. If a homeowner signs something, the likelihood that they sign something a second time goes down. So fill out your form completely, have them sign it, upload it quickly. Professional and client ready means that when we are providing something to the client, it's professional looking, it's not half done. Um, and we are compliant with carrier and TPA rules as well. There's certain guidelines that you would need to learn that you can ask your operations manager about, timeliness of deliverable items. Just we need to make sure we are being compliant with those because operations is chasing a 4.0 POM score in order to make sure that we continue receiving large volume of leads. So we make sure that we are compliant so that we can continue receiving those. Deadlines for those deliverables. We are providing regular progress and field report updates once a week for every job. You're going to be meeting with your project operations manager, providing those regular updates and the field reports also once a week. Change orders processed promptly. We need to make sure that the information gets into the system. If you have a change order that a homeowner needs, don't let it sit. Put it into the system, notify the estimator, put it into their field so you're just waiting on them to complete it. They have a deadline that they need to meet for any revisions. So the sooner you get it to them, the sooner they'll have it back, or the sooner they will be reprimanded by management to get it done for you. COS and project sign-off needs to be obtained same day as the final sign-off and walkthrough. If you're walking with the homeowner, you need to get that COS and project sign-off signed. If they are satisfied, there's no reason to delay that. Uh, Immediate notification needs to go to ops upon PCI. So anything that changes, we are immediately notifying operations manager of all those changes so that they can put it in the system, do what they need to do, and you can get back to your job in the field. Who uses the deliverables and how? So operations, the PCN, the project completion notice is obvious. They put it in the system to give off to AR. Accounts receivable, so AR receives the final invoice, so they would know exactly how much is going to be charged, mainly, or how much they're going to be charging. Mainly that is the responsibility of the estimator, but you are still involved. Client, TPA, and carriers, you are providing them the sign off, the closure. You're providing that information to operations to pass off to the client, TPA, and carrier that the job is fully closed. So operations uses all the information you give them and expects it to be accurate. So let's provide them that accurate information. Our fifth section here is collaboration. So any kind of communication. Internally, you're communicating with ops, with field reports and escalations. Field techs, you're giving them on-site coordination, direction for actual repairs and scheduling. And estimators, you're communicating with them for change orders and pricing issues. Externally, you're communicating with clients, setting up field walks, schedules, talking about delays and any sign-offs, communicating directly with clients. Adjusters, carriers, and TPAs, you can provide status updates and COS coordination, though typically that goes through operations. However, you do have the ability to give those status updates in the system and provide coordination with COS. Preferred methods and tools, proven jobs, obviously the main system that we're going to be using to keeping track of our entire database of all of our clients and the clients you are assigned. So info, notes, attachments, schedule, and work orders, the screens we spoke about in PSA, and mobile notes and attachments. You'll also be receiving Outlook calendar invites, so that will be a method of communication as well. When and how to escalate and to who. So internal operations manager is who you're escalating any major delays or changes to. Anything that happens with the client or anything that happens that's out of our control, in our control, doesn't matter. You escalate to operations and they will handle it appropriately. If it needs to go to ownership or to another entity within the company, let them handle that. You're just providing the details of what happened. Estimator, you can escalate any change orders and budgets. If an estimator is not responsive, you can escalate to senior estimator, or again, operations is a great resource for you. Give them the issue, let them handle it. Externally, none really. The client, you will never escalate anything to them. You would escalate everything internally and let your operations manager or ownership or estimators handle those escalations. There's no need for you to escalate anything external. Our sixth section here is KPIs, measurements of success. So major success measures, on-time job completion. When you provide an estimated start and an estimated completion date, you are adhering to that as much as possible for everything within your control. Anything outside of your control is not a major concern. We provide those updates. We inform the people necessary. You just informing operations to communicate that externally, and we are working our hardest to complete that job on time at the estimated completion date. Change order approval rate. For any change orders that come through, you are not necessarily in control of pricing. Um, Although you might have an idea of what their budget is and you can communicate that to the estimator, you provide all the information to the estimator, they come back with a change order, and you are measured on your change order approval rate. If we are taking time out of an estimator's day to get a change order done, and then the homeowner declines it, if we plan on them declining it because we don't want them to do it because it's a huge waste of time, but we're entertaining them with a change order, that's one thing. But if we are trying to get it approved, you will be measured against that approval rate. Client and TPA satisfaction, so your POM scores and feedback. Mainly it is operations who's managing the POM scores of 4.0 or higher, but it is still important for you to understand what you are delivering that is being scored. So the actual completion date based on the estimate, how large the estimate is and how many days you have to work it is a real score that we are affected by. The biggest thing for you as a project manager is going to be the feedback that we receive from clients and carriers and TPAs. If the experience was good for the client and they let the adjuster or the whoever they're communicating with know, that looks really good for us. Getting feedback is almost as important. Positive feedback is almost as important as a good POM score. Lastly, your success measure is going to be your adherence to the budget. How closely you can adhere to that budget that is set out by the estimator. If the work you're being asked to complete is unrealistic based on the budget that you provided, you need to communicate that to your operations manager, who can have a discussion with the estimator, or you can discuss it with the estimator themselves. Maybe they made a mistake on that budget and they have the power to change those work orders to adjust the margins. So allow them to do that, communicate that to them, and have the estimator change the budget. You just need to adhere what you're given. Again, look out for unrealistic expectations, but you will be graded against your adherence to the budget. Your expectation is 95% of your jobs have an on-schedule percentage completion. So if changes happen, communicate quickly so that schedule can change. So you're still being, so you can be held accountable to that 95% on-schedule completion and have it be fair and accurate. You are expected to have effective field oversight. If the projects that you're running are going over budget because they're spending too much on materials, multiple trips to Home Depot, it's potentially because you're not spending enough time in the field, communicating specific direction with your workers. If it is a subcontractor, you need to have field oversight on them as well. Another thing that we're looking for is positive external feedback, whether it's a TPA, a carrier, or a client, posting on Google, or one of the TPAs and clients giving us a good score. The feedback we receive from external sources is our best measure of your success. If you are running your jobs effectively, in a timely manner, under budget, we'll hear about it quickly in a positive way. The efficient closeout, so quick to COS or PSO, and then quick to PCN. So those acronyms should be familiar from this video, but COS being Certificate of Satisfaction, PSO being Project Sign-Off, PCN being Project Completion Notice. The efficient closeout requires that last walk to quickly go from that customer being happy about the job being completed to getting a sign form to getting a PCN date put in the system. The faster that happens, the faster we get paid, and that closeout happens quickly. That is what you're being measured against. The effect you have on the company by pushing for these different measures of success and hitting these target expectations is the proactive field management ensures a faster production to collection cycle. So production happens when a job gets an ATP and then you get assigned, right? So that enters production. We want to get to collection as quickly as possible. Complete the job, get the money, close the job out, get another one. You protect the margins via change order control and different changes that happen. If you can get them to select materials that are under their budget, if you can provide good distribution of labor based on skill sets so that we can use less labor than is estimated, you have the ability to protect the margins with that. Any time that you have to diverge from the budget that you're given, but exceeding that amount that you spend needs to be discussed with management and your operations manager. You also have the ability to affect our carrier and TPA relationships in a very positive way. We can have much stronger carrier and TPA relationships, which leads to additional work, additional leads. So higher dollar amount jobs, etc. You also reduce the delay and overhead that's spent on different jobs, which is obviously very useful to us. And based on your interaction with clients, repeat business is huge. So when you have a good experience with the client, we do a job effectively, we get in, estimate quickly, get it approved, they sign it, we start the work, we finish the work, we get out. They love us and they'll use us for our next project. So aim to get that call for a second job. Last section here is just going to be about help, where to find it. So your job aids, this document I'm reading off of, will be useful to you and available to you to review so you know your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Also, PSA Academy is really useful because it provides basic system knowledge of how to use your computer, how to use the browser app for PSA, as well as the mobile app, and how to navigate in there. Your subject matter experts are going to be Steve Alavi, as well as me, Thomas Eber. Where you would find help, again, this document's very helpful, but the PSA Help Library is available to you, which is hosted by Proven Jobs, Can-Am Systems. It's hosted by the people that run this database. The Proven Learning Series is also available to you on YouTube. It is ran by Proven Jobs, by PSA. They provide a learning series that is a little more in-depth with lunch and learns, hours-long video if you're interested, specific to different functions in PSA. Your last support line is the email support@canamsys.com. That is useful for IT issues where you may not get a direct answer from anybody within the company. You may be asked to escalate, reach out to them for your specific issues, so that email is available for support. Your internal contacts for help are going to be Steve Alavi, Thomas Eber, and Brian Schuyler.
Thank you for completing the Arizona Construction and Renovation Project Manager tutorial. If you have further questions, please refer to the notes and documents included in this course.